Hey, I'm Francis, and today I'd like to talk about something that I think is very important for musicians, and that is separating different aspects of your craft into their own categories. And the 5 categories that I want to cover are going to be playing music, writing music, learning music, practicing music, and performing music. And I think that all 5 of those things are very different, and to beginners and to non-musicians, that might sound completely ridiculous. But I think that after listening to me talk about this for a bit, you might agree with at least part of what I have to say. So let's get started. First of all, aren't all of those things playing? Right? Like, why is playing music its own category? I don't think that performing is playing. It can be, and it can overlap, but the act of performing usually is the result of years of hard work and years of practice, years of learning, in some cases, years of writing, and performance is sort of the result of all of those things. And a really good performance is often rehearsed to the point of being nearly the same every time. Now, this isn't the case in improvised performance, but some elements of improvised performance will be the same every time. And I think that's important to recognize as well. So when I think of playing music, I think of that as the part of music where there are no mistakes. You're allowed to do whatever you want. Anything is music. Anything can be music. And whatever you don't want to be music isn't music. It's like playing make-believe. I can decide that Beethoven isn't real music, and I can decide that the sound of the cars driving by outside my apartment are real music. When you play with ideas, you sort of allow yourself, you give yourself permission to do whatever you want. And I think that can be really important for finding new sounds, for finding new ways of approaching your craft. When we write music, we take some of these ideas and some of these sounds we've played with, and we think of new ways to organize them. And then we have some method of keeping track of them, even if it's just trying to remember them. I recommend writing your ideas down somewhere, or recording them. Once you've written down enough ideas, you can combine a group of ideas into a song or other composition. When we learn music, we take an existing composition and we identify what we need to do in order to recreate it. We can do this with our own music or with other people's music. So I can learn a song by my favorite band, and I can learn a song that I just wrote. Most people don't learn their songs as they write them. They learn pieces of them as a result of writing them, but once the song's done, you usually have to take some time to learn how to play it all the way through. If you don't take time to learn a song, you're going to make mistakes when you practice it and when you perform it. This is where it starts getting a little bit confusing, because I think practicing is very different from learning, and I think it's very important to never make mistakes when you practice. If you find yourself making a mistake when you think you're practicing, you need to go back to learn the part that you're making a mistake in. Because if you don't do that, you're going to practice the mistake, and the mistake will become part of your muscle memory of the song, which is going to lead to significant amounts of mistakes in the performance phase. Sometimes it's better to practice a song without playing your instrument if you aren't sure if you've learned it yet. That way, when you get to the part where you make a mistake, you don't practice the mistake in your muscle memory. A great way of doing this is to create a recording of your original song, or to find a good recording of the cover song you're working on, and to put on headphones or go in a room by yourself and just listen to the whole thing and think about what you'd be doing to recreate your part in the song, whether it's a guitar or a keyboard or the vocal. If you find that you get stuck somewhere, or you can't imagine what your fingers would do next, that's going to be the part where you're going to make a mistake. So that's the part you need to focus on when you go back to learning it. Once you're done learning a song, you can practice the song with your instrument. That's going to get your muscle memory to the point where you can play the song without really thinking about it. Once you've practiced it to that point, you're ready to perform the song. Performance is when you take the polished product of all these steps and you present it to some audience, whether it's your pets or your camera or a stadium filled with people. The goal of separating performance from these other steps is to make sure that the performance is consistently good, no matter who your audience is. When we perform, it's common to get nervous. You're going to get more nervous the less prepared you are. It's really important to practice your song until you're feeling really good about it. That way when you perform it, no matter who your audience is, you're going to be able to do a good job, even if you're nervous. You almost have to take all of these steps and do them over once you start performing. The first time you perform, you're going to be playing with ideas. You're not sure what's going to work yet. You try stuff out. Once you've spent some time trying things out, you're going to start writing, even if it's just in your head, a script for yourself. I'm going to play this song first, and then I'm going to play this song. And between those songs, I'll thank the audience and ask them if they're having a good time. Things like that. Once you're at a higher level, maybe you're going to try incorporating things like dancing or improvisation into your performance. Those are a lot more advanced, and I recommend trying out performing those things separately from the music before you try performing them with the music. So, if you're trying to incorporate dancing, learn how to dance and try performing as a dancer before combining dancing with music. And once you're good at both, you'll have less trouble. Once you've written or choreographed your performance, it's good to spend some time learning that choreography. A great way of doing this is to film yourself when you perform. That way you can watch your performances and figure out what you could do better next time. You're also going to see a lot of stuff that you don't like, and identifying why you did those things and identifying how you can avoid them in the future is also going to significantly improve the quality of your performance. Once you've got all your choreography figured out, you're going to have to practice it. And to do this, it's actually good to do it off stage. If you're playing with a band, for example, try doing all the stuff you do on stage when you're in your practice space. A common mistake made by bands is to face each other in practice and then face the audience at a show. It's a lot easier to play in time when you're watching your drummer. Once you're done practicing your choreography, all you have to do is recreate it in your performance. And things go wrong, so the more practice you have, the better prepared you are. I think it's important to spend time thinking about things like, what if I broke a string? Or what if I stepped on a cable and unplugged my amplifier? How do you react to those situations in a live space? The answers end up being different every time, and the more you experience those problems, the better you get at figuring out how to solve them. You just have to go through these steps, and it takes time. This stuff's really hard, and it really takes being honest with ourselves and identifying where we need to improve. I think it's important to say that even if you're not a super polished legacy act, your friends are still going to have fun watching you play your songs, and you're probably going to get some new fans along the way. So the most important part is just doing it. Even if you don't think it's ready yet, it'll be better next time. Don't worry about it too much. But when you have time, go through these steps and think about how you separate playing, writing, learning, practicing, and performing. And as a bonus, think about how you could apply this outside of music. Wouldn't it be fun to do this with cooking or drawing? Let me know in the comments how you prepare yourself for making a video or performing at a show. I'd love to hear your approach. If this was helpful to you, please consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you next time.